This is the Daily Fill, episode number 135. What's up, DRUMTREPRENEURS? Welcome back to episode 135 of the Daily Fill. Today's quote: "We must become what we wish to teach." That comes from Nathanial Brandon. He wrote a little book called The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem, which I must say, big shout out to the homeboy Buddy Love from Love Custom Drums. He actually turned me on to this book about a year and a half ago on a phone conversation him and I had, and it changed my life. It really did. You know, you think with that title, 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem, I got plenty of self-esteem. Why would I need to read a book about self-esteem? Go read it. Trust me, it will redefine what you think self-esteem truly is and give you a new outlook on how to look at the world. That's the best way I can put it. The book really kicked ass. Thanks again, buddy. That was great reference. You know, I heard about the book many times, and that actually pushed me to go and listen to it. So super cool. Speaking of self-esteem, speaking all that, that's what today's show is about. We're going to be talking about that battle plan. We're going to break down specifically how to get started. Because, you know, I know on episode 128, when we talked about developing the battle plan, I ran through things pretty quickly, the beginning, the middle stuff, why, stuff like that. Today, I'm going to focus on breaking down that opening thought process to why you're going to do this and kind of help you get started on setting that original battle plan up. Because for the last 3 weeks, I've gotten so many DMs regarding needing help with the battle plan that I knew I needed to put an episode together that kind of broke that down and really showed y'all how to do. Like I said, you know, I got a new one all the time. You see how deep this book is. I can't go through every battle plan, but you can see there's a lot. The progression has been, it's been insane. Sometimes I get into this book and I'm like, damn, I've almost like ran out of pages at this point. Where am I going to put next? This is insane. So that's why I started doing the dailies, right? I've always done a daily battle plan in here, but I actually picked up the Cardone 10X journal to kind of go through my day. And, that's been very helpful. As you can see, we fill out it every day. We don't skip a beat, not even Saturday or Sunday. You're wasting your time if you're just taking Saturday and Sunday off. It's like you're throwing your week away, in my opinion. So let's talk about that today. Before we do so, I gotta mention Predator Percussion, our sponsor, my good friend Mike Martin. Head over to predatorpercussion.com to check out his great selection of stave snares. Also to inquire about getting your own custom drum built because his quality is bonkers. I've got a 7x14 red oak, beautiful. I've got my 5x14 maple purple burst blast. You guys have seen me playing on it like crazy lately. It is such a phenomenal sounding drum, so easy to tune. Everything across the board I've seen from Mike is just fantastic. So if you want to learn more, just go to predatorpercussion.com. Big shout out to Marco Sirigliano for winning that custom Brazilian pecan stave snare that we gave away last month. Super sick. We'll have new details for the next giveaway this Friday on the Drummers I Like podcast. I'm very excited about that. Also, if you haven't checked it out yet, go to drummersalike.net/podcast84 to watch podcast 84 featuring Justin Scott. You may know him as @JScottDrummer on Instagram. Damn. The show is entitled Chronicling the Journeyman Drummer or something like that. But he is like, you know, if you've ever had your car worked on by someone who's just badass, you might have heard the term journeyman mechanic, right? This is what I see in drummers like maybe like Matt Halpern, like Eric Moore, stuff like that. But I see that in Justin because he's been playing since he was 2-3 years old. He's a journeyman. He's been playing drums and on this journey to understand it for so long. So check that show out, podcast 84, drummersilike.net, podcast 84. Check that out. And if you want to reference any of the battle plan stuff we're talking today, go to drummersilike.net/dailyfill128. We'll run through that. Okay, so let's get into it. So this whole battle plan thing, right? I got a lot of DMs last week and the week before and the week before that. Actually, after I put the whole developing episode out, I got a ton of DMs on like where to get started. You know, like how do I start this thing? To not be too vague about it, it really comes down to having the end in mind, right? We always talk about that. Like think about what was going to happen, like maybe at your funeral or what people would say about you if you died. You got to have that understanding in mind to really develop a reason to like build progression in your life, right? A lot of us have our lives figured out. We're doing a 9 to 5 every day. We've got our routines laid out, but maybe that's not enough. So the only way to break into that and change it is to create a new routine, is to create a new why, develop this understanding of the outcome. If I'm going to create this day sheet every day and start managing my life on a very finite, detailed way, then I need to know why I'm doing it. For me, it's very simple. I want to provide a life for my family that I didn't have when I was growing up, all right? My life was consistently like, am I going to get a new pair of shoes next week? Are we going to have enough money to pay the bills? Am I going to be able to even have school clothes? Stuff like that. That was a lot of the stress that I had to deal with growing up. Always like scarcity. I lived in consistent scarcity my entire life, and that's a lot to do with why I am overcharging myself all the time. I'm pushing myself 10x all the time, trying to make more money, create more income streams. So I want to create a life for myself that I wanted as a kid that I didn't get to have. I don't want my son to have scarcity as a thought process in his mind every day. I don't want to wake up thinking, I hope dad can bring in a paycheck this week so that, we can get more mac and cheese cups so I can have cool snacks, or that I can get my new books for school, or so I can afford to maybe get my first car or get into a good school or do anything, right? That's my end. It's the future of my son, my family, where we're going to be in 10 years. Not only the luxury of lives, to be able to pay my bills, stuff like that, but I want to have my health covered. So I can't stay in good shape. I can't get the checkups. I can't have the good doctors, the good health, which is something we talked about last week, right? My health, it fucked everything up for me. I was off 3 days. That can never happen again. So part of my end in mind is to, make the kind of money that I need to make to have doctors whenever I need them, to have preventative maintenance done, not just go to the doctor to get checked up on because I don't feel good, but to be able to reach out to a doctor once a quarter and go, hey, can we do a checkup? Can we just do a quick evaluation on my blood? Maybe there's something I'm missing. I got a little pain in my back. I don't want to run into something down the road. So let's do the preventative maintenance. That's my end. That's really why I actually started doing this thing. So that's really why you need to think about, like, what is your long term? What are you going to do in 30 years? If you were to do this every day for 20 years, what would you expect out of it? More money, a better job, your own business, better structure, maybe to impress the loved one, to impress yourself, to prove someone wrong. Like, what is your why? And there's no right why. If you really want to just get better because it's competitive and you want to be the best, then do it for that reason. I'm not going to judge you. I'll applaud you for winning and having a winner's mindset. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You've listened on multiple podcasts where we've had these drummers that are just insane that have said the competitive mindset is what made me push myself so hard. I wanted to be the best. You know what? That might be considered Machiavellian. It might be considered narcissistic. I don't think that should be the number one reason. But there's nothing wrong with wanting to be the best, with wanting to be number one, because that makes you feel good. It makes you feel like you went a little bit harder than everybody else, that you've got a little bit more commitment. If that makes you feel better, if that helps you get things done, then that's got to be your why. That's got to be your why. And that's where it all starts. You've got to have a why, right? Another good example could be, for our drummer friends out there that are really listen about drums to my shows, this could be a great way to develop your gig scheduling, how to get more gigs, right? They're not going to come to you. I had a talk with, I don't want to say his name because I don't want to give out all his secrets so people go, jack all his stuff. But my buddy would just cold calls venues and cold messages artists, and has developed this really detailed approach to where when he's not playing drums, he is seeking gigs 24/7. And he gets them, dude. He's gigged out every night. He's got to play a show every night. It didn't happen the first week, but after he started, and it all came from battle planning. After he started doing his battle plan, he was able to really put into his mindset in his day-to-day, oh, cool. So from this time to this time, I'm going to do this. And for the last week, I can go back and say, okay, so I spent X amount of hours working on cold calling, cold messaging people for gigs and shows like that, and I got 3 gigs out of it. I made $1,500. I made $500, $2,000, $50, $100, whatever it is. The number doesn't matter. You make money from doing some phone calls. You get a return on your investment, and you get to play drums for money. Think about that. So maybe that's why you're doing your battle plan, because you want to organize your life so you can structure your ability to cold call more venues, cold call more artists, get in touch with more people that can get you a gig. Think about that, right? That might be your why. Maybe your why is to really do like what I'm doing. It's to create a life for your family that you didn't have when you were growing up. Nothing wrong with that. But you've got to have the why. That's where this all starts. So next time you're going to message me and ask me, hey, how do I get my battle plan started? Dude, I love it. I want to help you. Anybody that hits me up, I'm going to help you. I'll offer you my insight and all that. But think about this. Think about why. Think about why. Because after that, it's all really easy. Look, all I do, I just write shit down and I format it. Nothing crazy. No rocket science here, right? Nothing too serious. but it helps me. It helps me, keeps me structured. You know, it took me a couple years to get this process in place. A lot of trying, a lot of trial and error, a lot of changing my mind on things, but I got to where I needed to be. I got the setup I wanted. Now I follow this every week. Every single week. On Sunday, I know what I'm going to do for the entire week. At the end of the day, I know my entire week already. What's going to be done this week, right? And then I detail it all day by day. I don't plan every day ahead of time specifically. I plan day by day. But I know what needs to be done this week and how I'm going to lay it out. And we've talked about it before. I think it was Daily Fill 113. We talked about blueprinting, right? This is where the battle plan came from. Like if you go back and watch these shows, listen to these shows, you can hear and get an understanding of like where this battle plan came from and how I started thinking about it and the details from past ways I've organized and taught people how I organize to this. This is the number one, and it really, really kicks ass for me. So think about that. Before I dial it out here today, I do want to give you one more piece of tangible advice with these battle plans. Look, you got to have, with that purpose, you've got to have like your top reasons. For me, it's very simple. I have it broken down to family and friends. I have it broken down to like the detailed things that need to be done in my home to keep things organized, such as, and this is going to sound maybe too detailed for you, but I have it down to the cat litter, man. I'm like, I got a time period of the day every day where I get that cat litter. I got a time period of the day every day where I clean specific aspects of my house. I do dishes every night because I like to keep it clean. I don't like a dirty kitchen. So that's written into my process. Is that being done every day? And next to that, I put check marks. Right? How are you going to hold yourself accountable if you can't like grade yourself or give yourself a check? I think there's something real valuable about a little square. Look at this. There's nothing better than I did this. See this? I love these little breakdowns that you can do here. I did this, right? Say this is your thing. There's nothing better than taking your pen and going in there and just... Not left-handed, so it's gonna look really fucked up, but done. So why is that important? Because it requires you to truly hold yourself accountable and physically accountable. You got to go put that check in. You got to fill that box out. See all those fills? Let's go back. Let's go back last week. And I'm not perfect. Look, I don't even get them all done every week. I have stuff that I need to check out every day that I'm not checking out because it's just simply not done. Let's go find a better week. Look at this. Boom. That's one of my better weeks. This is December 21st. Boom, the week of December, the 20th of December. So look, every day, little details. I got check marks for every day, check marks for every day, every day. It's one task with a check mark every day. Do you want to know what that does for me? That focuses me on doing it every day. So if there's shit little things I need to do every day to add up to the big thing every week, if it's just, like I said, doing the dishes every day, walking my dog at a certain time every day, making sure all the food's out at the same time every day, right? Those are little things that are easy for you to start developing that you can now take that understanding of being able to create those systems, those processes, and apply them to your work, apply them to your goals, right? So, example, I got a tab on here for side hustle, right? I launched a dropship site a few weeks ago selling wireless chargers, right? I wanted to give that a shot. I wanted to try it out. I wanted to put myself to the test, see if I could create an online commerce store. So what did I do is I set it out to a 4-week process. Each week I had different boxes I needed to check out, different steps that I needed to go through. If I knocked out all these steps, then the end all goal that I needed to complete, which was to launch the store, would be done. If I did all these steps, checked them all off, then when I check off that final step, that would mean that my store's launched. I'm able to make money off this product. Did it. It was really easy too, because instead of saying, oh, this week I'm going to get a store up and blah, 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 I broke it all down, tiny little steps, which I've talked about. The little steps do equal the giant things that you want to acquire in life, that you want to gain, that you want to understand. It's going to start small. That's the whole point of that, is if I have to go in and check mark every day, a new box, a new box, a new box, a new box, it's going to require me to think about that action every single day, which will embed it into my mind. And eventually I just start taking shit off. That's gone because I don't have to think about that anymore. That's just like built in. I've already hard coded that into my mind. That's what you want to do with these types of things. That's the whole point of the progression, is that there's stuff in here that's going to change. There's stuff in here that's going to get moved out. There's going to be less tasks for your family that week, maybe, than for yourself. More the next week than the other. But if you don't start writing them down, if you don't start breaking them down, if you don't get that why in place, you're never going to be able to do that. So once again, let me reiterate. Before you wonder how to get this battle plan started, I'll make it real easy. Get your why in place. Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to have success? Why do you want to be better? What's the point? Is this to be better? Is it to help you get more structure? Like, figure that out, right? And then layer out everything that's important to you in your life and write your tasks to make them better, to increase them, to systemize them, whatever it takes for you to get better at them. You create small tasks underneath each of those notches. You fill them out, you give yourself check mark boxes, and then you take another sheet of paper and you fill out your day. And you just pick. I want that today. I'll do that today. I'll do that today. Cool. Awesome. And then at the end of the day, when you're done, you're checking it all off, you're reviewing your day. You just go back to your battle plan. Done. And by Friday, you'll have most of your shit checked off and you'll be like, wow, what a productive week. And I'm not stressed out. Thanks, Rich. But for real, this is where it starts. It starts with the why. It starts with understanding why you're doing this. That will help you fill out all these steps, all these processes. All right? That's all it takes. That's all it takes. And you could have your own battle plan going right now. And I know it's hard. This is really hard. That's why we're working right now specifically on something to help you guys get this really in tune so it makes things easier for you. So be on the lookout like very soon. But, you know, this really saved my life. Just the truth. It saved my life. It saved me from a life of mediocrity, struggling, trying to grasp. Shh, give me this. I need to get it. Come on. Come back to me. No more. No more. It's all here. It's done. I can hold myself accountable. I can chart. I can track. I can manage. I can manipulate it in however which way I want to. It doesn't have to. This isn't set in stone, right? I try to obligate as this this is the boss, Rich, coming in. But it's okay to switch things around. It really is. Really is. And one more little tip. Put a section in there that's all about you. Your self-progression. What are you going to do this week to get smarter in marketing, smarter in design, smarter in sales, smarter in social media, smarter in social interaction? What are you going to do? What are you doing this week to progress? Are you reading books? Are you taking self-help classes? Are you watching webinars? Are you listening to podcasts? Are you writing battle plans? What are you doing? Because if you are, this is going to hurt. Listen to me. This is going to hurt to a few of our listeners. If you're getting off work, you're going home, cracking a beer, packing up a bong, and just chilling on the couch, and like, I worked my ass off all day. I'm good. You're telling yourself a false idea. You're not good. You're wasting away your life. I'm telling you. You've got to work for more. You got to want more than that. All right? Go play some drums. Get better at your craft. You love drums. You love listening to this podcast. You want to progress. Why are you listening to this? It's because you want to get better at life. That's what we're trying to teach people to do here. We really want to help you with a lot of these activities, with this progression, with this self-management. And doing stuff like that, wasting your time, is just going to put you backwards. That's why you need to have the battle plan. Because you won't write in there, chill on the couch and drink beer or smoke weed all night. You will not. You might put, get home, kill a beer or a bong rip, whatever it is you do. If you don't do any of that, even better. And then you get to work instead of whatever. You know what I mean? Maybe you're charting out your product. You're charting out your next class you want to teach. You're charting out, the podcast you want to launch. The Drummers I Like idea that you want to launch. Because there's plenty of room for all of us out there, all right? So don't let the luxuries of recreation and like relaxing, especially if you're under your 30s right now, be an option for you, all right? You got plenty of time to chill out and do nothing. Take advantage of your abilities now. Get your battle plan in place. Kick some ass. We're running out of time here, so I don't want to waste any more time. I got one last question for you. Let me read this here. All right, I want you to leave a comment. I want you to leave a DM. DM us, let us know. You know what I mean? Something that's standing in the way of making you get your battle plan done. I promise you I have the answer. I want to help you figure it out. I want to help you get your battle plan in place. I want to know where your head's at, all right? Big shout out to Mike Martin, Predator Percussion. Thank you so much for sponsoring the show, for giving drums away for us, for giving me drums to play, giving the team drums to play. We love you to death, man. My heart to your heart. You're my homeboy, man. Do anything for you. Big love there. If you haven't checked out Scott's episode of The Daily Phil, that went live Monday of this week. It was all about breaking your limits. Powerful. Very powerful stuff. Also, if you're not following us on social media, you've got to find us. Our Instagram page is popping. It's at Drummers I Like for that. And for Twitter, it's also at Drummers I Like. Also, Facebook.com/Drummers I Like. We'll be back this week with a fresh episode of the Drummers I Like podcast. So stay tuned and keep kicking ass. Remember, work on those battle plans. Take care, everybody. What's up, DRUMTREPRENEURS? You just caught a fresh episode of The Daily Phil. Just want to remind you that you can find us on social media. For Twitter and Instagram, it's at Drummers I Like. And for Facebook, it's facebook.com/Drummers I Like. Listen, Drumtrepreneurs, I need you to stay motivated. I need you to hustle. I need you to grind. I need you to put in 110% this week. Because if you're not focused on your goals and your efforts, you're not focused on being a Drumtrepreneur, then what the hell are you focused on? Come on, let's get with it. We'll see you